joining me. My name's Andy Cowling. I'm the Senior Channel Marketing Specialist at PFU EMEA Limited. And today I wanted to look a little bit in depth at the HR sector and really run a webinar that's looking at what are the opportunities for scanning and document management in this sector, and how can we really help you, our partners, drive some of those conversations with your customers. And the good thing is of course everyone has an HR department, so it really is something that is going to cover a whole range of sectors and organizations. So in terms of the actual agenda itself, I really wanted to cover the challenges that are faced by HR functions today. Really, why should HR go digital? Particularly how scanning can help create that digital HR function. Of course, looking at our scanners, so why our Fujitsu scanners, the FI and SP series, and the ScanSnap range, that right choice for HR. And what are those opportunities for you, our partners? And how can we help you develop an action plan for success to build that pipeline and to drive those sales? So in terms of challenges that are faced by HR today, and this, as I say, is from multinationals to SMEs to SOHO sectors, it's really being dealt with that HR sector by people that are very time poor. So admin is not their main focus, and it really distracts from other tasks at hand. They're multitaskers. HR is one of their many hats. You'll find that HR gets involved in facilities management, perhaps, and a whole multitude of activity within an organization. They're looking to seek to improve productivity by being more efficient. And of course, as we all are, we're looking to save the organization money. And this is something that's very pertinent within HR, really looking at what's going to benefit the organization in the long term. Can't have a webinar today without talking about home working. It's a trend that is going to stay. And ultimately, the digitization and management of that information within an organization has never been more important. Even more than ever, particularly in HR, because they're at the forefront of critical business decision making and ensuring business continuity. So a real challenge to try and understand and to try and get their head around how can we face this challenge and quickly. So what do HR functions want? They're looking for ways to make admin tasks easier and more efficient. They want to get onto the higher level activities of the core business mission of their organization. And this can be achieved through digital transformation, of which scanning is that perfect first start. But many businesses just don't have a plan for how they're going to deliver this. And you'll see this through a lot of information that we're doing around organizational intelligence. 35% of organizations do not yet have a clear plan towards digital transformation. And this is actually something that we've recently done a report on. So if you haven't yet already, I'd very much encourage you to download our organizational intelligence report, which has a lot of takeout stats. We've interviewed over 1,200 companies around where are they on their digital transformation journey. What do they perceive as the stumbling blocks? What do they perceive as the benefits of accelerating, I suppose, their journey towards digital transformation? So a really, really good report. We've got a webinar that's been done on it recently, and I'll share those details in the automated email that should go out tomorrow. So if we split HR into 4 broad categories, we're really looking at the areas you see here: handling and storing data, processing that information, providing analysis and insight, and communication with staff. So we're going to look at those 4 categories in a little bit more detail. So in terms of handling and storing employee data, this is something that's central to many HR functions, particularly maintaining employee records, organizing those records. So looking at areas like job roles and responsibilities, personal data, rewards recognition, disciplinary, expenses, and so on. And the challenges really here is around paper-based data storage is very, very inefficient and complex to navigate, very difficult to find quickly, very difficult to share if it's needed quickly. And of course, if that's paper-based and people are remote working, then even harder to access that. Storage space limitations and access to central filing cabinets really makes data handling laborious, expensive, and prone to human error. We all know about the flip side to paper-based information and some of those indirect costs associated with paper, particularly when it comes to time. And centrally stored files really inhibit that remote access, as I mentioned. And also they create a security risk. Natural disasters, if theft or fire within the office, then that's a security risk. If people can access that, or that information disappears completely. And another stat that we brought out in our ROI report is that on average, small and medium-sized enterprises spend 120 days every year on admin. And of course, they want to stop that and focus on that core activity. The second challenge is processing information. And this is something that's required for many, many HR processes, including recruitment, onboarding, payroll, benefits, expenses, and managing holiday entitlement. And the challenges here are very much admin-heavy paper-based systems, such as managing physical receipts, collating forms, and this leads to very, very inefficient manual record keeping. And then, of course, the other areas are how paper-based systems really limit the ability to remotely access information, and this causes a security and compliance risk. 21% of an organization's total productivity is lost as a result of information management efficiencies. The third area is analysis and insight. This is very much required for organizational intelligence and business planning, and this includes things like succession planning, as well as demonstrating compliance. The challenges here, it's very time consuming to manually have to analyze every single piece of paper-based data to help support those business decisions. It's very difficult to monitor diversity, transparency of pay, and really benchmarking to ensure that everything is compliant. And then there's the limited access to centralized paper files, which are very difficult to keep secure. 71% of HR managers say that they struggle to access data or analytics in their business. And then the final challenge is really around staff communication. HR is very much a central point of ensuring that there is cross-organizational dialogue and really wanting to make sure that employees stay connected. They're very much aware of their roles and interdependencies. And again, particularly in this remote environment, it's key that employees remain empowered, connected, and communicated with. The challenges here really are around the lack of clarity and accessible documentation around particularly roles and responsibilities, and this can really lead to duplication or missed objectives. It's difficult to keep all employees abreast of company policy updates and organizational developments across multiple locations. And there's a problem with version control. You really want to make sure that everyone has visibility of the most recent edition of something or a document in order to be compliant with all regulations. 74% of employees feel disconnected at work and that they're missing out on company information and news. So why should HR go digital? HR digitization is I guess just one part of a company's overall push to digital transformation, and it can deliver more. It could be that first stepping stone for organizations that have thought under the challenges of the last 6 months, we need to start that journey. Where should we start? Let's start with HR. That's perhaps an area that hasn't worked so well. And then that could then roll out within an organization. So digital transformation really enables greater accessibility, security and compliance, workflow efficiency, and engagement with employees. So in terms of accessibility, digital transformation naturally improves accessibility. It's all about making records and data available to access from anywhere with those user access rights. And it's becoming increasingly critical. Research by a company called Quocirca found organisations expect 66% of their workforce will be mobile by 2025, and that's up from 49% today. And I suspect that research isn't overly relevant to today's circumstances, so I wouldn't be surprised if that number's even higher. Companies are looking at implementing flexible working policies, and 91% of employees say their job would be easier if they could really quickly access the most current document version without having to worry about where it resides. And then 80% of employees say that they need to access corporate documents on their mobile device. So another conversation as well when it comes to remote working, cloud, and the ability to access information on multiple devices. Digital transformation is also really important for security and compliance. Digital files are far easier to secure, and you can set automatic rules for data retention compliance. So it's all about the ability to know what are you holding, how long do you need to hold that information for, and by using document management workflows, you can very quickly make sure that you're compliant by things being flagged that you now no longer need to keep these. There's penalties for non-compliance on GDPR, and this can be up to 20 million euros or 4% of annual global revenue, whichever is greatest. We're all very well aware of GDPR, but it's worth reminding. And interesting, only 28% of firms say they are compliant with GDPR today. So it's a shocking number. It's probably a little bit like Brexit, where everyone's forgotten about some of the more pressing concerns because of COVID. So there's a lot of work still to be done to help firms become more compliant with GDPR, and that's an area where digitization can help. In terms of workflow efficiency, digital transformation can really help drive workflow efficiency by making data storage and processing more efficient and less prone to errors. On average, and then this was a survey by Sage, 5% of working time, sorry it's not this graphic up here, is lost to administration. So it's a huge chunk if you look at a working month of time that's being spent on unnecessary admin. 48% of HR managers just don't believe they've got the tools and systems in place to be as effective as they can. And a survey by AIM found that 68% of respondents believe that businesses at the speed of paper would be unacceptable in a few years, while 46% stated that removal of paper has been the biggest single productivity improvement for most of their business processes. And then employee engagement. Really, digitization will do wonders for employee engagement, keeping employees motivated. They need easier workflows. They need to spend less time on admin. 80% of millennials said that state-of-the-art technology was critical to an ideal working environment. And I think we're also, the non-millennials are starting to realize that they need better technology to function. Perhaps not just to progress and advance and understand the latest techniques, but just for their own quality of life. And then 92% of business leaders state that digitization within employee benefits is very much crucial to building that staff loyalty and driving better retention. And I've got references to all these stats, so I can share those afterwards if you'd like to sort of read a little bit more around that. So looking now as to how scanning technology can help, naturally it's got a huge role to play in creating that digital HR function. Organizations really see scanning and image capture as the first step of the digital transformation journey. Clearly there's information coming in that's already digitized, but the biggest pain points really are a lot of that legacy information that exists that needs to be digitized. 54% see scanning as an important digital transformation enabler. And scanning and image capture is really that entry point to automation, the Internet of Things solutions. It's really helping to reduce paper and storage while making processes far leaner. It's helping to reduce costs. It's freeing those employees from tedious and onerous tasks, and that helps to enable that more productive workforce. And it opens the door for new ways of thinking and hopefully better future-proofing. So in terms of scanning within the digital HR function, you'll see here some key areas that we see around easier access, security and compliance, the ability to find forms simpler and to update those forms, far easier to access and search digital documents. So items such as CVs, interview notes, contracts, performance reviews, and so on, and they can be accessed anywhere at any time. And reducing costs, so money is saved through less storage space being required, and not losing documents and not having to recreate documents or find inaccuracies with input. Digital documents can be analysed, so storing that data, make sure that you've always got the recent version, and it allows for big data analytics, so better ability to understand the bigger picture. So analysing and comparing information across teams in the organisation. GDPR is all about being compliant, but it's also about proving that in a court of law. So it's about having that audit trail, having that evidence that you have been compliant if someone's asked for an access request to all the information you hold. And it's also helping to create a better working environment. So how does it deliver organizational intelligence and in a smarter way of working? It effortlessly helps you capture paper-based information through dependable quality scanning. It economically digitizes users' office processes and helps to streamline those workflows. And it saves users valuable time that would have gone ordinarily into arranging, filing, searching for papers. And again, it's getting back to that focusing on central business activities and business continuity ultimately. So hopefully you'll recognize the scanner here, the FI 7160. I've got another slide on that in a minute. But I guess really we're looking at why do HR need a dedicated scanner, and perhaps those benefits around dedicated scanning over and above perhaps other devices that might be being mentioned, like a multifunction. There's lots of pain points around managing paper documents. It's numerous, it's frustrating for businesses, and you'll see here a lot of benefits from purchasing that dedicated day-to-day scanner for an HR function. Dedicated scanners really enable the use of line of business applications, particularly specific HR applications in this case. They really help to improve confidentiality and security of information with an interim holding area for scans. Image capture is enhanced to really just capture that content and not just an image. It's all about the content. It's all about how can we create the best scan first time. So we have things like automatic cropping, automatic image cleanup. So you can throw documents through and our wonderful PaperStream software really just does the job for you and make sure you get that best scan first time that you can then push into your workflows. Documents are searchable and they can be scanned directly into workflows. Document scanners can very much handle larger volumes of documents and a large variety of paper types, as well as double-sided scanning. Throw a mixed batch of documents through, it will automatically crop, automatically take out DSQs, and really, as I say, help minimize the user intervention, both sort of pre, during and post the scan process. So admin tasks become easier, more productive, saving time, saving money. The cost of scanning can be reduced if you're comparing that to a multifunction device. And of course, with a multifunction device, there's a lot less time wasted walking to and from the device, waiting to see if it's being used. And of course, from an HR perspective, security is even more paramount. The last thing you want to do is be at a multifunction device and accidentally leave something on there that someone else might pick up. So you really do want to be scanning within an enclosed, secure environment. So the result really is a far more streamlined process, saving time, space through an affordable solution. And that bottom line that I keep repeating is less time spent on admin, more time spent on core business activities. So I wanted to look at a couple of devices quickly that we sort of perhaps recommend within I suppose the HR space. What we've really tried to do is look at our range of scanners and just pick out core devices that are very suitable to specific markets, to specific vertical applications. So if you ever want to have a chat around what scanners do we recommend for education, for healthcare, for legal, then we've got content on that, so we can help you push that message to your end users. But in terms of HR, we're looking at one of our very latest scanners, the SP1130N, and they're really about improving work processes, solving customer pain points. And one of the beauties with the 1130N is it will scan those multiple document types and sizes. It will scan that information into workflows. We now have the ability through PaperStream Capture that's bundled with the 1130N to scan directly to PDF. We can create searchable files. This is now a LAN compatible device. So that's something very different to the previous SP generation. And this was launched only a couple of months ago now. So again, if you'd like to look at more information around the new SP series, then more than happy to share that with you and understand some of the opportunities with your customer base. And then the one that I mentioned that I'm sure you're all well aware of is our most popular selling, which is the FI7160. And it's a great choice as a scanning solution for HR, particularly in the current landscape. It's ideal for organizations that are struggling with remote working and perhaps need to digitize vast amounts of data. It's versatile, it's cost effective, and the world's best selling scanner. And then just some points here, backfile conversion, I think is a critical one for organizations who perhaps have just about functioned. So this might be applicable as well to accounts payable, contract management, other areas within an organization where it's very paper heavy. And so how can we talk to your customers around the need to, I guess, just go and scan everything they have and get those better routines going. The 7160 has a 60 page per minute speed to it. We also have the 7140 and 7180, 40 and 80 pages a minute. 7160, 9,000 daily duty cycle. We bundle PaperStream IP, PaperStream Capture, and you have the ability to scan directly into workflows. One other key thing that I encourage you to do is to reach out to us, and we can facilitate introductions to some of our ISVs. And I'd love if we've got ISVs on the call, or if you have any other ISVs that are strong within the HR sector, then please introduce them as well. But we've picked out 5 of our ISVs here who are ones that we consider leading ISVs in the HR space. So they've very much got information, case studies around how are they helping specific customers progress within HR. And these guys really have their own software solution, document management solution that is linked up with our scanners to really provide that perfect conversation, that value added opportunity that you can take to your customer base. And they're keen to talk to you. They're keen to find resellers within all markets across EMEA to understand better around how they can help in countries. So please talk to us if you do want to speak to more around that. But it's really the time now to target HR. We've got the working from home. We want to increase employee engagement. We want to maintain productivity. There has been a rise of people being furloughed and unfortunately being made redundant, and that has seen an increase to HR functions of people wanting to access their personal data. And then really we've got a lot of new working practices that have made a lot of organizations want to accelerate their digital transformation journey with the help of trusted experts. So us with scanners, our ISV partners, and then you to help facilitate that conversation. So it's really that time where we can now help those businesses to adopt new HR working practices. We want to achieve those workflow efficiencies. We want to make information more accessible, secure, and compliant. Just wanted to talk to you about our imaging channel program. I'm sure you all know it well. The fact that you're on the webinar means that you receive information, you have access to the channel program. But if you have colleagues that aren't, then please ask them to join up. It's really an enablement tool that allows you, our partners, to I guess understand the opportunity around scan. You see some of the other benefits here, but it's really about enabling you and your staff to really help drive those conversations and take that message to market. We're also investing some time and money to create other HR marketing vehicles or collateral, I suppose, and this will be emailed in due course. So another reason to be a member of the Imaging Channel program. We're working on use cases with our ISV partners, so you'll see one here from Document Logistics. So this is just really looking at what was the challenge faced by a university, what was their solution, and what are the benefits now that that university is seeing from that document management solution. So Document Logistics is software and Fujitsu scanners. We have crib sheets, so really how can we drive that conversation? What do you and your staff need to help push that conversation? So keep an eye out on emails. These will be coming out on emails in the next couple of weeks, but really keen to, again, perhaps repurpose this and help you take that to your user base. You don't need me to tell you how to do your jobs, but I guess the message here is that we would love to work closer with you. We would love to develop up content, whether that's a landing page on your website, whether that's email comms, so as to take that message to your customer base, drive that pipeline, drive those sales. So please come to us if you want support. Final slide from me. I always have to talk about imaging rewards, not because it's a chore, but because it's such a brilliant scheme. It's all about rewarding you for your engagement and your loyalty, and essentially make sure you are logging your sales. If you've not already got an account, of course, then sign up. But log your sales, we'll credit you with points, and you can spend that on gadgets, experiences, anything's achievable through it. If you don't have an individual based scheme, then as a company you can use the points to buy products. You can use the points to exchange for marketing funds. We have products on double points this month. A couple of our ScanSnap devices selling very well because of remote working. So I'd certainly encourage you to look at these products. Talk to us if you want to know a little bit more around content for remote working. And then we also have the first generation SP models. So as I mentioned, the second generation was launched a couple of months ago. So we've got double points on the first generation SP. Thank you very much for your time. Apologies again at the start for a little bit of issues technically. I hope it wasn't too bad. I've not been looking at the chat as I've been speaking, so hopefully there's not a raft of people saying I can't see anything. Yeah, speak to me if you want to know any more information. Speak to your partner manager, but we'd love to work with you closer, and keep an eye out in the next couple of days for a link to this webinar and further information around our organisational intelligence report. Thank you very much, and have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.